Hey, everybody. Thank you for being with us again. Here we are, May 5th. Stevie Buckets, how are you, sir?
I'm good, Tom. How are you?
Good. Do you like this? You like my bullhead right there? Right there?
I do. I've been always a fan of that picture.
Yeah. All right, let's just jump right into it. May 5th, just for today. Daily meditations for recovering addicts. May 5th. Any lengths? I was ready to go to any lengths to stay clean. Basic text, page 217. Any lengths? Question mark. Newcomers asked, what do you mean, any lengths? Looking back at our active addiction and the lengths we were willing to go in order to stay high can help to explain. Were we willing to drive many miles to get drugs? Yes. Yes, we usually were. Then it makes sense that if we are concerned about staying clean as we were about using, we will try anything to find a ride to a meeting. In our addiction, didn't we often do crazy, insane things or use unknown substances at the direction of others? Then why do we often find it so hard to take direction in recovery, especially when the direction is designed to help us grow? And when we used, didn't we often, in desperation, turn to our higher power saying, please just get me out of this one? Then why do we find it so hard to ask God's help in our recovery? When we used, we usually had an open mind when it came to finding ways and means to get more drugs. If we can apply the same principles to open mindedness to our recovery, we may surprise ourselves by how easily we begin to grasp the NA program. Our best thinking, it is often said, got us into the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. If we are willing to go to any lengths, follow directions, and stay open minded, we can stay clean. Just for today, I am willing to go to any lengths to stay clean. I will become as open minded and ready to take direction as I need to be. Pretty good.
It was good.
What do you got?
Well, it kind of makes me think what I tell the clients all the times. I say it, a lot of us don't have a problem taking suggestions, but we have a problem taking the ones like we need to take. That's the ones a lot of times we find the most resistance to being, to having. Like some people don't mind going to meetings, like that's an easy suggestion for them. But then when it comes to get a sponsor, it's like, oh, that's when you'll face the resistance, the agitation. They'll get uncomfortable. They'll procrastinate, and they just won't do it. You know what I mean? But it all varies. Honestly, it's a lot of times it's person to person.
I think with this particular reading, people aren't willing to go to any lengths. And I don't know
Mhm.
that, of course, there are people out there that have, anxiety or whatever the case is. They get anxious about these uncomfortable situations, stuff like that. For those people, I can understand. Like, what is that noise?
That was my phone ringing.
Oh, um, what I was gonna say is part of this. I think it boils down to just pure laziness. To be honest with you, we see people all the time that they're perfectly capable of going to the meetings and finding a good looking girl or a good looking guy and
Hmm.
approaching them and talking to them and trying to be the cool guy or the cool girl or whatever the case is. I mean, Steve, we see that all the time.
Yeah.
um but when it comes to actually you know putting those types of efforts into finding a sponsor or meeting new people, networking, building a sober support group of people, they don't want nothing to do with it. And, I think a lot of it does really boil down to laziness. And it's unfortunate because, there's so much opportunity. I tell people all the time the amount of opportunity that you can find inside the rooms, not just on a sobriety sense, in many aspects of your lives. I mean, I've gotten very far in areas of my life that I wouldn't have had I not gotten sober and been inside the rooms. So I like this reading, but some people just aren't willing to go to any lengths, and they're just downright lazy. And it's on them.
No, absolutely. And I think, I mean, a lot of substance abuse, I think, has to, this might be unpopular, I don't know, but it has to do with laziness, feeling euphoria quickly on demand, without a lot of work. And then when you stop and the actual work starts, because like you gotta with recovery, look, you don't have to be 100% perfect. You don't have to go to every length to like everything, but you at least gotta give it a good effort. But I see it all the time, man. In terms of some people, like they won't even do the littlest thing for their recovery, and they expect to stay clean, and then they blame the program when it doesn't work,
Yeah.
and it's quite frankly pretty frustrating. It's like, well, you didn't. It's like me. It's like a personal trainer giving me a fitness plan, and I go to, he tells me to go to the gym 4 times a week, and I go once, and I go for half the time he recommended, and then me saying, well, physical fitness doesn't work.
Right. Exactly. No, that's a great analogy.
Hmm.
This can also, because Steve, some of our listeners are family members, loved ones, and stuff like that, and um, this can also pertain to them as well. I
Sure.
mean, we have conversations, plenty of conversations with parents and loved ones that have a loved one that's an addict or an alcoholic, and we give them suggestions, and they take some, they don't take some, and ultimately, when the outcome isn't what they want it to be, they'll blame us, or continue to blame them. And it's like, well, wait a second, you're not going to these lengths, you're not doing the
Hmm.
things we're suggesting you to do. So that's
Well, it's hard, difficult.
yeah, yeah, it's lack of
You know.
control, you know
Hmm.
so
And
I
well,
like
and
this
also
reading.
requires faith. Yeah, it's a good. Yeah,
Good reading.
it
So
is.
anything else on it?
No, just a lot of times you have to. It's you have to be desperate.
Right.
And again, that doesn't mean you have to be living under a bridge to start taking the suggestions and being fully committed and by any means. But you tell yourself, you know what? That's why I say, hey, give it a year commitment. If the
Yeah.
rest of your life seems too heavy, I get it. Just give it a commitment for a year, any links for a year, and see what happens. You'd be surprised the results.
Or a month,
Or hell, even a
whatever,
month.
a
Yeah.
day, yeah, commit to something.
Hmm.
So okay, cool. Well, thank you, Steve, and thank you for watching this, whoever's watching this. And if you want to reach out to us, you can always reach us info@realrecoverytalk.com. And if you want to reach out to me personally, you can always email me, tom@realrecoverytalk.com. And yeah, the podcasts go out every Wednesday, every Sunday. And we're also on YouTube, obviously, because you're on YouTube right now. That is it. We'll see you later.
See ya.